Now we have a great show for you as we are going to be talking about the mysteries of Egypt. In today's show, we talk with two travel consultants working for the Archaeological Paths travel company, which organizes exclusive tours to the Land of the Pharaohs. Enjoy the show and travel with Archaeological Paths to Egypt like a real pharaoh.
Good morning. Today we have two travel specialists from Archaeological Paths joining us today, Marius Selecki
Good morning.
and Adriana Samluk.
Good morning.
Before we get into the exciting things happening in Egypt and the Royal Egypt Tour that Archaeological Paths organizes, tell us more about Archaeological Paths and the things they're involved in.
Archaeological Paths is passionate about traveling, so that is why we organize in-depth tours to many destinations, such as the Royal Egypt Tour. Apart from that, we love archaeology and we support excavation in Egypt. We also are sponsors of one of the most prestigious books written on Egypt ever, like The Secret Voyage and The Legend of Tutankhamun. Those books were gifts to the head of states, kings and queens, and President Obama also received one. We also take part in many projects and meetings. So, for example, we joined the Bentley's 100 meeting, and we are the partners of the Rolls-Royce meeting, and so on. At the end of the day, we also are producers who document live and historical discoveries. Lately, we were the co-producers of the Expedition Unknown that was being broadcasted live straight from Egypt on the newest discovery that was made there a couple of days ago.
So tell us, what are some of the most recent discoveries in Egypt at this time?
Oh, quite a lot. Recently, there's been a series of new discoveries in Egypt. Basically, new finds are actually made on a daily basis, and that's a great news for anyone who's interested in archaeology and in traveling. And we should still remember that modern Egypt is built on top of ancient Egypt, and that quite a lot of artifacts may be lost forever as they are buried under the sand or just covered with new dwellings, new villages built over, new buildings. But, I keep my fingers crossed and I really hope that most of them will be able to recover.
It sounds like there's still a lot to be discovered in Egypt.
Oh yes, sure. So not to be groundless, just a few days ago we all could watch Expedition Unknown live event from Middle Egypt that was broadcasted by one of the TV stations. That was a live program that opened stone sarcophagus on TV. A team of archaeologists led by Dr. Zahi Hawass, the world's most famous archaeologist.
He's the real-life Indiana Jones, isn't he?
Oh yes, he's really famous for wearing his fedora hat. But coming back to the event, Dr. Zahi Hawass opened sarcophagus that was sealed 2,500 years ago. It contained a mummy in a perfect condition, immaculate condition, that was surrounded by many golden artifacts and many other treasures. It turned out that inside is buried one of the high priests. As it is often with typical Egyptian mummification, the canopy jars were found nearby. Canopy jars are to be actually stored person's removed organs, just in case the mummy needed them in the afterlife.
Because you never know when you'll need
Exactly,
them, right?
you never know. So the event was huge, it was extraordinary, and it proved to be a huge success, not only for a TV station, not only for the Egyptian government, but also for us. And I'm really proud to say that, Archaeological Paths was one of the event's producers.
You mentioned the discovery of the high priest. Have there been any new discoveries of pharaoh tombs or the like?
At the moment, Dr. Zahi Hawass carries new excavations in the west part of the Valley of the Kings. I believe that everybody knows this iconic site in Egypt and doesn't really need any further introduction. However, I just mentioned that it is the King's Necropolis, so there are 65 tombs of pharaohs found so far there. And Dr. Hawass believes that in the area nearby or in the valley itself, there's still plenty of or many secrets to be revealed. That is why he and his team carries out the scanning project. So they, with the help of the radar, are looking for any cavities, for any cracks in the ground that may turn out to be tombs which have not been discovered yet. Currently, Dr. Zahi Hawass is looking for a tomb of Ankhesenamun. Ankhesenamun was the wife of King Tutankhamun.
Well, I would just like to add that not only this queen is being searched for. At the moment, Dr. Zahi Hawass is looking for the tomb of Nefertiti, the wife of Akhenaten, the rebellious pharaoh who tried to embody monotheism in Egypt. And right now in Egypt, there is also a project Dr. Martinez is leading in Toposiris Magna in Alexandria. They are trying to find the tombs of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. After the scanning and the radar, they have found two shafts that are actually underneath the Toposiris Magna. One of them is big enough to be a burial chamber. So we are keeping our fingers crossed to check and to find out if we really have found Cleopatra and Mark Antony.
That would be quite the discovery, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would.
When we think of Egypt, we think of the Great Pyramids and the secrets they contain. Have there been any new discoveries amongst the pyramids?
Oh yes, Dr. Zahi Hawass has a head of a committee that supervises a scanning project of the Pyramid of Khufu. Just imagine, Pyramid of Khufu is the greatest monument on our planet and the only one of the 7 ancient wonders that is still standing today. The Pyramid of Khufu is tangible evidence that humankind can make impossible possible. But the tomb of Khufu has not been found yet, and Dr. Hawass believes that it must be somewhere hidden inside of the pyramid. So the scientists, this time by using cosmic rays, are searching for any cavities in a pyramid structure. This project has got its own success at the moment because they found 2 cavities just above the ground gallery. However, these findings, they need further investigation and some more research. So, as you can see, Dr. Hawass is a really busy person.
Yes, Dr. Hawass is very famous in his own right and a well-known archaeologist in the field. How does he find the time to attend the Royal Egypt Tour and accompany guests on part of the tour?
Well, I believe that this is the question to Dr. Zahi Hawass because he is so occupied with his work, research, international projects, and his own excavation sites. But still, he finds time to actually join our guests. He joins us many times during the tour. It's not just one visit. So he gives 2 multimedia lectures talking about the newest excavation, what's going on currently in the newest archaeology and the world of the discovery of the ancient tombs and places that are not shown to the public, actually. But apart from that, he also joins us to places that are close to limited to the public. So we go to his own discovery, to the place that he discovered himself, like the tombs of pyramid builders, when he meets our guests and walks them around the discovery and tells them what they have found out. He accompanies our tour guests when we go actually between the paws of the Great Sphinx, and he walks around our guests around the area. What is more, Dr. Zahi Hawass also meets us in the Luxor Temple. And apart from the work and like meetings with Dr. Hawass, we also give our guests a possibility to enter the entire Giza Plateau and the Great Pyramid of Khufu by ourselves. So you have the private access to the entire Giza Plateau and you enter the Great Pyramid of Khufu, the 7th wonder of the ancient world that is still standing today.
I see that the pyramids are a big highlight as part of the Royal Egypt Tour, but I think everyone, including the guests on your tour, will be asking, who built the pyramids?
Well, I don't blame them. I asked this question to myself too. Well, the thing is that the Great Pyramid of Khufu and the precision that it was built makes everybody wonder who built it. And, when we think about the pyramids and ancient Egypt, only one image pops into our mind, like the Hollywood movie with smacking the slaves and building and putting the blocks one to another. But the thing is that there are many theories. One is the slaves. The second one is that the pyramids were built actually by a civilization that was 10,000 BC. So they were before the Egyptians. There's another theory telling us that the pyramids might be built by aliens, extraterrestrials. There are so many theories about who built the pyramids. But right now, we are able to tell you exactly who built the pyramids. Thanks to the findings of wonderful archaeologists, they discovered two workers' towns in the Giza Plateau. But what is more, Dr. Zahi has found the tombs of pyramid builders, which is now an active excavation site that is closed to the public. And he takes our tour guests to that site. And he walks our guests around that place. This is very important because we now know that those people were living there, but also they were buried there. The archaeologists also found there the oldest bakeries in Egypt. So we know that those people were privileged workers, not slaves, and they were well fed. And to answer your question, the pyramids were built by skilled workers, people like you and me.
That's good news. I think that makes a difference. One of the most iconic monuments in Egypt is the Sphinx. And there's so much mystery and questions surrounding it. Can you tell us a little bit about what's been discovered there, or if there's anything new that we have yet to hear about?
Well, Egypt is a mystery, but a well-studied one. And during the many years, people were fascinated about the statue with the lion's body and human's head. And we know that the head represents one of the pharaohs. But which one? Khufu or Khephren? We do not know. What is more, people are wondering what is underneath the Sphinx in the bedrock, actually. So Dr. Zahi was leading an excavation, and there was work done there to drill from one side to the other of the Sphinx, and they made tunnels to check what is actually underneath the Sphinx. There are also tunnels inside the Sphinx, so there are doors you can actually enter the Sphinx. But usually people do not see that, because when you go to Egypt, you see the Sphinx from a terrace, from far away, from the area that nobody is able to go to the enclosure. But when we go to Egypt, Archaeological Paths opens the door and you go down to the Sphinx enclosure, where you can stand between the paws of the Great Sphinx. You can see the renovation process. You can see the stela between the paws of the Great Sphinx. You can see its smile, the colors. You can walk around the Sphinx. You can see its tail. You do all that with Dr. Zahi Hawass accompanying you, telling you what are the newest excavations there, what they have found out. And you can also see shafts, places where they drilled underneath the Sphinx. You can also take pictures there with Dr. Hawass, ask him any questions. So this is a unique opportunity to discover the Sphinx on your own too.
Wow, I'm learning so much. I know it's something I've always wanted to see, so hopefully I get that opportunity to see it. I visited your website, royalegypt.com, and I saw Dr. Hawass isn't the only guest on your tour. You also have an additional 2 guests on this tour.
Oh yes, indeed. On Royal Egypt Tour, there are 2 more distinguished guests. We've got Mrs. Jihan Sadat, the former First Lady of Egypt, and wife of late President Anwar el-Sadat. Oh, she's a truly remarkable woman.
Oh, she is.
And of course, she's a human rights activist as well. So we pay her a visit at her Cairo residence. And there's a kind of like a tea reception where delicious sandwiches, amazing Egyptian sweets are served as well. And Madame Sadat, she gives a lecture there on her life, on her current engagements. And of course, as a human rights activist, she touches quite a lot on her work in regards supporting children in need. Our second guest is Dr. Mostafa Waziri, current head of a Supreme Council of Antiquities. He's a really important person in Egypt. He gives all the permissions for anyone who wants to carry out any excavations in Egypt. Just enter any pyramid, enter any tomb. So he gives all the permissions. Really important person. We meet Dr. Waziri in Karnak temple complex in a very special place. Karnak is not a single temple, it's a complex of temples. And we meet Dr. Mustafa Waziri at the 13th temple, newly discovered one. It is still closed to the general public, however, it is opened for our guests. We've got the whole temple to ourselves, can you believe it? There are plans on opening the temple within next few years, but we are really fortunate because we are there now.
We not only have a private visit to the Karnak 13th temple, we also have a private visit to the Luxor temple. During the Archaeological Paths trips, we go to the Luxor temple when we have the entire temple just to ourselves. And can you imagine that they close it for anybody else? It is open just for you. Dr. Huas waits for us there, greets our guests, tells them about the newest discoveries that are now being made in Luxor, like what happened in the last couple of months, last couple of weeks, last couple of days. And this is amazing, And then after the lecture and question answer session, we have the entire temple just to ourselves. Can you imagine that? You have the entire temple, it's night. The temple is being beautifully lit. You explore the temple with an Egyptologist. And you walk around, you take pictures, but you also can get answers to questions that nobody would give you if you wouldn't be there with us.
I've heard that Luxor is very beautiful, and it sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to experience the way you're describing. It sounds like it must be an amazing opportunity to take pictures.
Yes, well, during the Royal Egypt tour, because we have private entrances to many of the sites, our guests have twice as much time and they can take a lot of pictures without crowds running into the shot. So on our tours, we also have had photographers, professionals who joined the tour. But it's not only just for professionals. You have entrances to sites that are closed or limited to the public. So that means that there are no other tourists around, with the camera that can spoil your shot. But let's be very honest here. Who else can say and brag about to their friends that they have pictures made in front of the paws of the Great Sphinx or the beautiful Luxor temple or other places that are there without anyone there, without any person interrupting you or going into the shot?
That's $1 million shot, I think.
You cannot download a picture with you standing between the paws of the Great Sphinx, or to have a beautiful shot at night of the Luxor temple. So if you're looking for a photo opportunity and you would like to take good pictures that nobody else has, now this is the chance for you.
It sounds like there's so much included on the Royal Egypt tour, from the special entrances to the special guests you have. The tours must be really popular. Are they sold out in advance?
Oh yes, they are very popular, and of course due to amazing itinerary, due to presence of our special guests, and of course special entries that we've got access to outside of opening hours. That all makes Royal Egypt tours really popular, and that is why our tours are actually sold out on many months before they start. They can be actually sold out like 6 months, even a year ahead.
Wow, it sounds like you're very busy.
We are indeed.
And it sounds like Egypt is a very busy place, and there's a lot of discoveries happening in Egypt at this time. But I think everyone's wondering, is Egypt safe to visit for tourists?
Of course it is, yes. Archaeological Paths doesn't organize any tours to any country that we consider unstable. So we wouldn't actually send our guests, our co-workers, our families even, to any country that the safety is not guaranteed by local authorities. That is why actually we closely monitor international and internal affairs in Egypt. What is more, Egypt, thanks to a stable government and strong police and military forces, it's basically a safe country for its tourists. Each day, thousands of tourists fly to Egypt without facing any problems. Every year, there are around 12 million people visiting Egypt. And last year, 2018, had one of the best results. What's more, Egypt has implemented the best security procedures at the airports, at the tourist sites as well. So the same applies to the hotels. They are really well monitored and secured at all times. So as you can imagine, Egypt is really busy at the moment. Most of the hotels, decent hotels, are already booked up. It's so difficult to book a hotel. That all proves what I've just said, that Egyptians, they take safety really seriously. And just to back it up, the recent poll by Gallup actually says that Egypt is the safest country in Africa and it's ranked on a 16th place, whereas the United Kingdom is on 21st and the United States on a 35th place. So Egypt in statistics falls under one of the safest countries to visit.
It sounds like they take safety very seriously for tourists.
They do indeed, yes.
Adriana, I know we spoke of this earlier. You said that you've traveled to Egypt for work. How did you feel as a woman traveling to Egypt?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't go to a country that I do not consider safe. I do value my life, and I hope they wouldn't send me anywhere
Yeah.
if it wouldn't be safe. But taking jokes aside, as a woman, it is very important to check your background if you go anywhere in the world. And I went to Egypt. I went with the company. I was there for 40 days. And I also travel as a single woman to Egypt. Not even once I felt that something is not right or something is going on. On the contrary, I felt so safe, so privileged, and so happy because I was surrounded by marvelous people. And the basic line is that they are very welcoming. They're very hospitable. They always try to talk with you in English. They want to practice the skills. So, when you go to a bazaar, you go into interaction with people, or you meet kids, for example, in the Saladin Citadel. They want to take pictures with you. They want to talk with you. And they are very happy that you're actually going to their country. I have faced no problems at all. I'm wearing my shorts, my tank tops. I go down the street, go to the bazaars, mingle with people. Of course, when I go for the sightseeing to a mosque, to a synagogue, to a Coptic church, I wear more modest clothing, like long trousers, skirts. I cover my neckline, my shoulders, I cover my head. But I do it out of respect. And I also would do that when I would go to Vatican or any place of worship that is important to people. Apart from that, I'm just mesmerized about people in Egypt and how wonderful they are and how great it is to walk down the streets, even at night, and there's always somebody who will help you out.
So it sounds like there's a lot happening on this tour in regards to archaeology and history. Is this tour for anyone that is not an archaeology or history lover?
Well, of course, in Archaeological Paths, we made the itinerary in such a way that, of course, you'll have an in-depth insight on everything that is going on in Egypt. You will have private entrances to places closely limited to the public. But you're still on vacation. You should enjoy yourself. So you stay in 5-star hotels. You enjoy all the highlights of Egypt. So you not only see the things that we mentioned before, but you also have a possibility to go to the Valley of the Kings. You see the Luxor Temple, Hatshepsut, Abu Simbel, and so on. Apart from the highlights that we have and all that we've put in, we also make sure that you can embrace the outstanding Egyptian culture. So you have a chance to see dances such as the belly dance, Nubian dance, but also we give you the chance to go to the local school to see how a teacher teaches the children and how the educational system looks like in southern part of Egypt. You visit the Nubian house, you interact, you talk with the tour guides, you can ask them any question about Egypt and how it is actually to live in Egypt. We go to Madame Sadat's house and meet her family too. So we interact with her, we ask her questions on the nowadays Egypt. And what is more, during the tour, we also have a chance to taste delicious local cuisine. So we not limit ourselves just to 5-star hotels. We have the opportunity to eat at the best local restaurants in the Cairo area. So we taste delicious local cuisine. We eat veal, we eat pho, we eat falafel. So the tour is designed in such a way that everyone can find something for themselves.
I've heard the food is very good there, and it's making me hungry. Just thinking about it.
Me too, trust me.
I know Egypt has been on my bucket list for a long time, but I would want to bring my mom. She's over 70 years old. Is this a tour for her or someone in her age?
Well, of course, we do not have any age limitations on the tour. Our tours are being joined by teenagers, middle-aged people, senior citizens. So all in all, the tour is for everyone. And there are no problems with going on the tour. Of course, you have to be generally mobile, so you have to be able to walk some stairs to enjoy all the sights, right? But our oldest tour participant, she was 97.
Wow.
So this is the age that you cannot beat, actually. If you're considering that, you can perfectly go there. And what is very special that we took into consideration is that we give our tour guests twice as much time at each and every place, so they can actually explore the site and enjoy it. So I think your mother will be perfectly fine.
Wonderful. Well, I guess we'll have to sign up. I know we could talk about this subject for hours, and then I can tell you guys are enthusiasts on the subject of Egypt, but that's all the time we have for today. And hopefully we can catch up soon and talk more about the discoveries and mysteries being uncovered in Egypt. If you would like more information about Archaeological Paths or the Royal Egypt Tour, please visit their website at www.royalegypt.com or give Marius or Adriana a call at 917-719-1974. Are there any things that you guys would like to add or tell our listeners at this time?
Let me recall or rephrase Dr. Zahi Hawass' own words. What we have discovered until now is just 30% of the Egyptian treasures. There's still about 70% buried underneath the ground. And Dr. Zahi Hawass says that you never know what secrets the sands of Egypt may still be hiding. You can find it out. Join our tours. Go with us to Egypt.
And give us a call.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you again, Adriana and Marius, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
And again, the website is www.royalegypt.com and the phone number is 917-719-1974 to book the Royal Egypt Tour. Thank you again.
Have you ever imagined traveling to the Land of the Pharaohs with the world's greatest archaeologist? Haven't you always dreamed of visiting the most recent discoveries, tombs, which no one has seen for over 4,500 years?
Archaeological Paths Travel Company invites you to the most exciting tour of Egypt ever offered. Experience the Land of the Pharaohs with the legendary archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass. Enjoy VIP hospitality on the Royal Egypt Tour and uncover the wonders of this ancient civilization. Visit royalegypt.com.